saying, on the Midnight Hour radio show.
Yes.
We're going to take it live with Michael Lington, jazz legend. What's going on, Michael? What's going on with you?
Oh, man, everything is really, really cool.
Hey,
Welcome, Mike.
How you doing?
We go,
wonderful.
right. We have you sure know how to turn that saxophone on, man.
Well, I do my best over here, you know?
Yeah.
Very talented young man. He's not only saxophone, he's a songwriter and a producer.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, in these days we have to pretty much do it all, right? We have to be able to write the music and be a part of the production and play the instrument. So, yeah.
Give a shout out to Tom Estes.
Hey, Tom.
Hey,
Hi, Tom.
So Michael, I mean, I got one song loaded up you did with the one guy who used to be married to Halle Berry.
Oh, Eric Benet.
Right.
Well, I don't know that I did a song with him.
Oh, is that the right part? No, Kenny Lattimore used to be married to Shantae Moore, one of our friends. Right. I apologize, Shantae.
I did do something with Eric Benet, but that was a few years ago. So, but he's not on the new record, at least not that I know of. But
right.
We did a show. Eric and I did a show years ago. But new record is Kenny Lattimore.
Right, Kenny Lattimore. Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
My fault on that, Michael. I be getting so confused. So many stars come on the Midnight Hour radio show. But Shantae Moore is one of our close friends, or one of my close friends, so I better correct that. I apologize, Shantae.
That's okay.
So tell us about your music. How did you get started, and who are some of the people other than Kenny Lattimore and Eric Benet that you've worked with?
Oh, well, I mean, actually, there's one person I really have to be very thankful for, because he sort of got me my start in the world of music here in America. I came originally from Copenhagen, and I moved over here to America in early '90s. And when I started touring with this gentleman, Bobby Caldwell, when I started touring with him, you remember Bobby Caldwell? What You Want People Love, right?
Great.
And he really, actually, he was the person who suggested that I should start make records, my own records, and we toured together for 4 years, and ultimately, he sang on my first record. We did a rendition of an Aaron Neville classic called "Tell It Like It Is," but yeah, so that was sort of my first break here, and then I was with Bobby for 4 years, and then I started touring with Randy Crawford.
Wow.
Oh, that's one of my favorite singers, man.
I know, and Randy, I grew up listening to Randy. It was so funny back in the early '80s in Copenhagen. So it was. We ended up having the same manager, and we went on tour for 3 years all over the world together. I would open up for her and then play with her after my show, and still to this day we're great friends. Wonderful, wonderful talent. And then, let's see, then at that point I've gotten into my third or fourth record, and I would just start touring, with my band solo, and but on all of my albums I've always liked to collaborate. So Randy was on my second album, and then let's see, we had Aaron Neville on a couple of records ago. We did a song together, and not the new one, but the one before. I had Michael Bolton
Love Michael
sing
Bolton.
a song with me. I toured with Michael too for 3 years as his special guest. Actually, that was ended last year, and so so I love the whole collaboration thing. That to me is great. And then right now, Kenny Lattimore and myself are going to be out touring together. We actually already started. So I'm excited about that. Excited about the song we did on the record. Yeah.
Well, only over 31 million people listening to you in 33 countries. So
that's exciting.
Let us let them hear some of you and Kenny Lattimore, one of your collaborations on the Midnight Hour radio show, and we'll come back and finish interviewing you. But this is Michael Lington featuring Kenny Lattimore on the Midnight Hour radio show.
Right.
I got something special that'll take your breath away. But you gotta promise that you'll stay, stay. And baby, tonight's for you. I'll do anything you want me to. If you tell me to, I'll run a mile just to see you smile. 'Cause ooh, when you smile, stars like baby. And your style, it drives me crazy. Ooh, if you ask, you'll never get a maybe. Gonna love you tonight.
Man, you can blow.
Yes, she
Man.
All right.
Really nice.
Now let me ask you a question, Michael. This is Rocky Thunder.
Hello. How are you?
Now, I'm all right. Now, how many babies you think were conceived off of your music? I'm just trying to make you laugh.
I hope a whole bunch, because then I did my job. You know.
All right now.
Right.
I have a question for you, Michael. Do you
Yes.
just play? Do you play one sax? Do you play all of the saxes? 3 of the saxes?
That's a great question, actually.
Yes.
I mean, there's actually even more than that. But,
Wow.
I play pretty much alto, tenor, and soprano sax. But predominantly on my solo records, it's all alto.
It's alto, yes, I could
Yeah.
tell. Very nice.
Yeah.
And what other instruments do you play on top of the
Well-
saxophones, plural?
Well, my first instrument was the clarinet, and I haven't played that for a long time. And somehow I don't think you and I would be talking if I still played the clarinet.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think that would probably
Yeah.
go with your nice, wonderful genre, jazz. Yeah.
And a little bit of keyboards. I write some of my music on keyboards. And,
Yes.
but saxophones definitely. It seems to me that alto sax has sort of become my voice.
Right.
I concur. Good voice you have.
Yes.
Well,
Right,
Michael,
right,
this is
man.
Vanessa Fox. And
So I don't know if you guys could tell, like the song I did with Kenny. It's reminiscing of the old Junior Walker, the All Star.
Right.
Yes, it is.
I noticed
soul
that.
music. Yeah, and that's the whole record, Soul Appeal. The whole record is like that. We really wanted to capture that moment in time when music was just, was beautiful, was happy, was uplifting, and it was soulful. You felt it more than heard it. You felt it,
Yes.
and for some reason, I can't tell you why, but growing up in Copenhagen, I was so influenced by American rhythm and blues and soul music. So this record for me was really getting in touch with my roots, what inspired me to become a musician. And so my 8th record, and we were thinking about, what can we do that really, really connects with me? Because if it will connect with me, it'll probably connect with my audience, And we came up with Soul Appeal, which is basically, it's all original music, but it's basically soul music, like if it were recorded in the 60s,
That's pretty
It has
good.
that feel. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Just that aura. I love it.
Yeah, I definitely got that Junior Walker and the All Star feel to that
Yeah.
song. But
And even the process of recording the record, we all went into the studio, like the old Motown days or the Stax Records days, right? Booker T and the MGs everybody goes into the studio at the same time,
Right.
recorded. So we didn't touch it after that. It was just basically, it had to just feel good. Once it did, we left it alone.
Okay. Well, I see on your Facebook page you have a really interesting little history, and I saw a picture that your granddad is a musician is a musician as well, and one of his best friends was Josephine Baker.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, my grandfather worked. And you work with a lot of American artists coming to Europe and touring, through the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and even
Wow.
70s, and I suppose I became a musician just being around that environment. People ask me, where did you get your inspiration? Why did you want to become a musician? And I'm assuming it was because I was so surrounded. Him and I just got along so well, and I adored him and loved hanging out with him. And there would always be stuff going on, musicians calling. I remember one time I was at the house. I must have been maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. I remember the guys from the Mills Brothers calling him from America. And so he had worked with them, done records with them. Josephine Baker, he had worked with a lot. They became very, very close friends. And Fats Waller and Joe Venuti. I mean, just a lot of American even Shirley Bassey, and they did records together, and so I was just surrounded by that.
Oh, that's great.
You know,
That's
yeah, it's
fabulous.
really, really cool. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, Michael, we got about 3 minutes left on the Midnight Hour radio show. Everybody here seems to love you. But so how can people get in contact with you, Michael Lington, on the Midnight Hour radio show? Jazz percussionist extraordinaire, saxophone player, writer.
Well, I mean, the best way is to either go to Facebook or to my website, michaellington.com, because that's sort of our destinations for everything, My shows will be posted up there. What's new will be posted there. So michaellington.com or just my Facebook page would be a good place to.
Well, we're going to induct you into the Midnight Hour Hall of Fame. That started with Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. from the Fifth Dimension. And I'm going to pass that buck over to Vanessa Fox.
Okay, hey, Michael, we want to induct you into the Midnight Hour Radio Show Hall of Fame. We can give you 30 seconds to give us some of your good stuff. You want to blow a couple notes or?
Right. Well, I want to tell you one thing, Mike. George did his last interview here.
George Duke.
He did his last interview here on the Midnight Hour radio show.
That's very, very special. Yeah, I had a great opportunity to meet George a few times, and what an incredible man, an incredible musician he was. Wow.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but thank you very much for that honor. I really appreciate that.
Right. We're going to give you 30 seconds to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Vanessa Fox was trying to tell you that. So right now we got Michael Lington on the Midnight Hour radio show, being inducted into the Midnight Hour radio show Hall of Fame.
Well, nobody told me anything. I would have had my socks out. Now, I don't have even my socks anywhere close.
30 seconds, Michael. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do.
Okay, well, I just want to thank you guys so much for doing that and having me on the show and giving me the opportunity to reach your audience and play my music. And please feel free to play if there's anything else off the record you guys want to play. But I really appreciate you guys having me on the show. And, it's a pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you so much.
That was Michael Lington.
Thank you, Michael, for blessing our ears.
Midnight Hour Radio Show Hall of Fame. We love your music support. Soul Appeal with Kenny Lattimore and Michael Lington. They're going on tour, he said. And you can go to michaellington.com and hear more of that wonderful music. Shout out to Michael Lington on the Midnight Hour Radio.
Thank you so much, everybody. Such a pleasure. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
So there it is, y'all. We had a lovely time with Michael Lington.
Yes, we did.
And he has a really interesting